Okay, so the things you're going to need: something to cut the cable, a pair of secateurs or some snips. You're going to need some grease just to top up the head, and you want a 30mm socket to take the grease nut out. You're going to need this little bar here, which is to lock the head so you can undo it and take it off. Scraper just to clean the strimmer head. Spare button and a spool of strimmer line. Okay, so strimmer heads. Now these are a consumable item. They need to be monitored regularly to optimise the performance of the strimmer and also to save further damage to the entire strimmer head. Now, the idea with the strimmer head is this button gives you the right strimming height of the grass, approximately 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Now as that head wears down, it's going to affect the performance of that strimmer head. It's going to make you catch the grass and scuff the grass. So it's important to keep an eye on that black part of the strimmer head, because that is replaceable, and that button on its own is about 1/4 of the price of the entire strimmer head. So there's an example of the button, and you would basically take the strimmer head apart, replace the button. So this here is an example of a head where the button's worn down and it's continued to wear down the entire head. Now this entire head needs to be replaced now because it's absolutely knackered. So to stop the head spinning, you need to lock it using this metal bar. Now that bar goes into that hole there. You keep spinning the head just slowly with a bit of pressure on the bar until you sort of feel it hit the notch. There you go. Now remember, this is lefty-tighty, not righty-tighty. He says as he does it the wrong way. There we go. So that comes off. Okay, and there is a loose sort of washer there. It's worth checking inside because you can get debris build up in there, so at this stage it's worth just cleaning that out. Just slide that back on. Get your brand new head. Just thread him on like that. There you go. So the reason the thread is opposite to normal is that the action of the strimmer spinning round would make the head go loose and come flying off. So by having a reverse thread, it actually self-tightens itself to keep it on nice and secure. Now the other thing that needs to be mindful of is the cutter on the cowling there. That will cut your strimmer line to the optimum cutting length for the power of the machine. And it's important to make sure that is in good working order, and you mustn't take them off to allow for longer strimmer line, because that's going to end up putting undue stress on the machine and increase the likelihood of picking up stones and smashing windows. Whilst you're doing a bit of maintenance on the head, it's worth taking that bolt out and making sure there's enough grease in that head. So if it's not greased up properly, it will just wear out quicker and reduce the life of the strimmer. Now it's nice and easy. So you get this Super Lube FS, which is made for the steel strimmer heads, and it quite simply screws into the hole where you just took the bolt out. Okay, so that's the same thread a few turns on that. With a gentle pressure on the tube from the end, as if you're squeezing out toothpaste. There we go, doesn't need loads. Undo it. That's it, fix the bolt back in. But do make sure you get a spanner and pinch it up tight, because they can drop out during the vibration of use, and then you can end up with a lot of debris and crap getting inside there, which again will cause wear and tear. Right, so keeping an eye on your button. As it starts to wear down, and before it gets too low, you need to be replacing it. Now replacing it is as easy as popping off the white part of it. There's two buttons either side, you press them in. The front part comes off. You press this down, turn it, it's a bit fiddly, and you should be able to work it out from between the little bits of plastic that hold it in place, he says. There we go, and out it comes. Now this is a brand new head, so it comes pre-loaded with cord, but obviously with a replaceable head, there's no cord on it. Your new button goes in, make sure the spring is still there and hasn't come away or fallen out. Set that in place, ring goes back on, make sure the white clips are in firmly, you've got a new button good to go. So obviously we've got no cord in there. So what I'll do is I'll just show you how to put a new load of cord in. Now this particular model is a Steel C26-2, and the idea with this is you don't have to take the head apart to get your new cord in. So what we have to do, there's a line that goes through the middle of the black button, and there's an arrow either side on the white ring. They have to be lined up, and you use these finger divots to sort of get a bit of grip. Press down and turn until the arrows line up with the line. Okay. So we need to pull out enough line. I tend to do about 6 arm lengths. Now this particular line is the 2.4mm, which is the suggested one for this. You can go up to 2.7, 5, 6, cut it to length, secure your cord back in so it doesn't unravel, and what we should be able to do is find the metal holes, and you should be able to thread this all the way through now that your arrows and your line are all marked in the same direction. Again, it can be a bit fiddly. And there it is, coming out the other side. So you pull that all the way through to the middle. Gather both the ends together. So you can essentially fold it in half and make sure the middle is crossing our strimmer head. Okay, so that is central. Then you use those same finger grips to press down and wind it in. There we go. New button, fully loaded head, good to go.